Alright, tubers. This is the next day. I just fixed the pin. This is the be6s. Started out as the mt8e, which is the 4S version. This is upgraded to the 6S version. See the aluminum motor mount there? It's got an armor motor, the old school armors. Take it outside and see what she does. It's got the Castle Creations Mamba Monster X, Mamba Monster ESC in there. So you can have some fun. Definitely gotta try to tighten that servo saver somehow. I got the steering kind of Mickey Mouse. Whoa! If you touch the brakes when you're steering, it works better. Whoa! Now watch over dog poop around here. The steering's really an issue. We're getting a little bit of lag on the throttle. I don't know what that's about. Oop. The steering is horrible. Tough truck though. The steering's pretty not good. This is definitely not a race truck. This is for doing stunts, backflips and stuff like that. You ain't racing with this thing. That's for sure. It's not a race buggy. Something, another pin came out. Maybe a front one. Nope. Seems alright. Alright, maybe it's nothing. Steering is really your trick. It's definitely fast though. Alright, something's not right. Something ain't happy. I'll have to take it apart. Looks like my dinner's done. I don't want a burner. Yeah, they're done. I call that done. Y'all stay confident but humble. Peace! Hey, tubers. You guys just saw it was a little bit of diff skipping there. I immediately knew what it was because I just put the center diff in there because it had a locked diff. It comes with a locked diff. And the be6s is the option 6S truck. Comes with a center diff. And I had just actually put this in there. I've destroyed these before, so I'm quite familiar with them. Well, she's slipping. So she needs to be, those gears need to be shimmed inside. Either that or I have to run it with no gasket. I have done that before. But I have shims, so I'm just going to shim it. But I don't think I'll be filming this because my fingers are going to get all slimy and I don't want to get slimy stuff all over my phone. So I'll bring this back once I get it apart. How's that? Well, I just started. I figured I'd turn the camera on because these screws are actually not very tight. I was expecting them to give me a little bit of fight. Man, these screws are just not tight. Wow, look how loose that is. Really, no fight to get them out done at all. Wow. And the fluid didn't come out. It's a good thing I'm shimming these diffs, I guess, huh? I'll put the camera back on again. Let me pause it again, and I'll bring these back once I get it apart. Alright, I got the gears out. I gotta put shims on these 4 little gears, and they'll go back in there. The fluid, yeah, she looks a little bit on the gray side. I'm not really too worried about that. I just gotta figure out which ones of these shims go on there. I got these random from AliExpress. I got these little shim kit. It was only like, I don't know what it was, $5 or something. Alright, so you guys see why I don't film this, because it's just not fun. So I'm going to clean my finger off so I can pause the video. And I'm going to put 4 shims on each side and put it back in there. And I don't know, I guess you guys can watch me put the diff back in the car, because this car is so easy to remove and put this diff back in and out. It's so easy. Alright, tubers. I got the really thick silicone fluid. This stuff is actually made to go in a rag, and we use it at work to keep door jamb rubbers from freezing onto the cars. Basically, it's just really thick silicone. Works meant for these diffs, but it's going to have to settle for a while because I got to let it settle to the bottom. So we're going to stuff so thick, it's going to take probably an hour. So I'm just going to let this sit for a while until I keep my cats away from it. And I did find some shims in there that were just a tiny bit bigger. I think those would work better, so I started using those on it. Put them back in there. And I'll bring this back when I'm ready to put it early back together. Tubers. Well, to sand this back together, I had to take 2 of the shims off. So basically, I was able to put 2 shims on each side. And it's locked up really tight, but it does move a little bit. So I think it just needs to be broken in a little bit. I don't mind it locked at all, really. But I think once it breaks in, it'll loosen up a little bit. But it was moving a little bit, but she was tight. But I believe once it gets used, it's going to break itself in and it'll be fine. That's how it goes in there. And it's just this cap goes right over it, and then 4 screws holds it in, and that's it. That's how it goes back in. I put fuel line in each cup to stop the play of the axles, just to keep it quiet. Makes it quiet. So that's it, and 4 screws and done. Real simple. Bring it right back. She's done, back together. Of course, it took me so long. It is dark outside. Yeah, buddy. So, take her out again tomorrow, I guess. We'll see if we can break her again. How's that? Yeah, all back together. One last look under the hood. Yep. Mamba X, 6S ESC. It's made for like an 8-pound car. And this car is a plastic chassis. It's a pretty light truck. So I think it's one of the benefits of this truck is the actual plastic chassis, which in the old days I would have thought plastic was junk, but you know, and actually these days plastic's not junk. This is a old RC. It's got to be at least 10 years old, and the plastic's still holding up. I do have some of the control arms I've changed, and the knuckles on the ends I've changed, because if you saw when the pin came out, it hits the knuckles and gouges them, so it makes them weak. But usually what happens is these ends right here snap off. And the front and rear both have them. It's kind of like the Traxxas Revo in a way. Just it has stand-up shocks, you know. But the way it, you know, that is. Yeah, so it's back together. And, yeah, this is weird holding this camera like this. But that's it. You see my cooling fan set up. That's what the little slot in the window's for. So it sucks in fresh air. Another little fan over there. I used to have an extra fan on the ESC, but I kind of did away with it. Tubers, I did a big bad doobie. Yeah, buddy. I crashed into a concrete step in front of the house and snapped the chassis in half. I didn't even realize at first that it was that bad. And so first it was just this piece, I thought. So it was that piece broke right where the screw goes through, right off. So I plastic welded that piece all back on, and I used soldering iron with a flat tip and a piece of zip tie, and I melted some plastic on top of there. And I melted a piece of wire bent. I didn't record or take pictures of that part, but see that? Yeah, that's focusing pretty good. So I took one of those and I melted it in there. So now it really wasn't this. It was a piece of a resistor, the wire from a resistor. I melted it in there, reinforced the plastic. But then I realized this was snapped off. I go, oh boy, I gotta figure out how to fix that, right? Look how bad that is. Oh man. The more I look at that, the worse it looks. Oh god. And this piece snapped off too, and that piece goes through and catches this piece. And this piece isn't broken. That's where the hinge pins go through, but it also has the front bulkhead goes through here, and there's a screw that goes through that. It holds the bulkhead under the front of it, and that snapped right off. So now you can see I'm about to melt this. If I can do this and show it on camera, just like that, right there. So you get that bent, so it shapes over it. So it's the shape of it, right? Now I'm gonna melt it in there with a soldering iron. Let me show you how I do this. I'll put the phone in a holder. Hang on. Let me show you how I do this now. Hopefully I don't knock this phone over while I'm recording this. I just take this right over the crack. The crack is right there. I'm going to put this over the center of it. See, I was impatient. I snipped those wires right off. They go to the lights. I was impatient. I didn't care about unhooking nothing. Snippy, snippy. Yeah, I don't think you can even find this bulkhead if you look for it. This is a Red Cat be6s. Good luck finding a bulkhead for this thing. It's kind of making it difficult. There we go. That's why it's taking a little bit. It's melted in there though. It's having a hard time heating up the whole spring. That's the problem. This is a really cheap soldering iron. It's actually burning my hand. The handle was getting hot. So I got these soldering iron mats that I bought real cheap from AliExpress. And they kind of, once they get dirty, they don't look good. So I stopped using them, right? I got one left that I'm using, and that's it, right? I got other ones. They're in the drawer, right? So I use a piece of a soldering iron mat, and I taped it around the handle of the soldering iron to protect my hand from the heat. This thing was getting too hot to even hold. I think we're getting pretty good. And we're just going to stop melting plastic all over this thing. Okay, just form it around there. No, it's not all the way in there. So we'll try to sink this side a little more. All right, tubers. I cheated a little bit. I have a heat gun for shrink tubing, and it has a temperature gauge, so you put it at about 470 degrees, which is way over plastic melting temperature. And you use this heat gun here, and I heated it up, used the soldering iron at the same time, and pushed that wire in, and got her in there, and I melted that wire in there good, and I melted that spring in there real good, and then I covered it all with as much of this plastic zip tie as I could and melted it all on there. It's just cooling off now. Looks pretty good. So it looks like this thing's going to fit on there just fine. Looks good. Should be good. We'll see. We'll see when I get the screw in there, right? I should probably test it. Let's see. Actually, I think I did that all wrong. I did that all wrong. That's supposed to go that way. Bring it back. All right, tubers. that is fixed as I can get it. I'll put back together. I wish that was made as one solid piece. I don't know why they made that as two pieces for. Because those 4 screw holes line up on this. You can see I ripped out those 2, which is the main screws, because when that lets go, all you got left is those 2 screws, which are these 2, and they are pulled out. Now I got a piece of carbon fiber I could put in there. Right, I could cut a piece of carbon fiber, drill 4 holes, put it in there. But this diff case lines up with this, and if I make it 3 millimeters taller, it's going to throw off everything. I don't think it's going to go back together properly. But I think maybe. I got to think about it. Because maybe I can put a piece of carbon fiber across here to make up for the difference. But I don't know. I'm really trying to think out of the box right this second. Hopefully you guys enjoy this little tidbit of information on this mt8e be6s Red Cat version of the 6S Beast. I do love this car. It's just really old and it's taking a lot of beatings, and that one hit to the concrete, man. The left front wheel hit, and the angle of it pushed the whole thing like that. Or like this. Yeah, this way. And it ripped it right, this whole thing just right out. So the left front wheel hit hard on the steps. So that's, we'll get it fixed up. No doubt about it. I've already went through these discs before. Look at these babies. They're smooth. This thing has beefy diffs. You are never stripping one of these. The center diff is like the weak point, but I do have a locked center diff. It's a locked piece. It's the way it came with a locked one. The center diff is an upgrade because it allows you to tune it. But I don't know. I kind of like the locked diff. But I like the center diff too, so I'm giving the center diff a run for now. But if this hadn't broken, we'd be still playing. But we'll get it fixed. We'll get it up and going. You'll stay confident but humble. Peace.